Hello friends, I'm Brian, and this is Gizmo Board Games. We are starting another month, so it's time for my look back at the games I played last month, that being June of 2025. I had quite a busy month in June, I guess with school out and not as much going on. I had more time for playing and more people had time to come over and play, so I didn't play that many solo games this month compared to the normal months. And that's pretty cool. I always enjoy having people more than playing solo. So there's going to be a good mix of solo and not solo games in this month. And as you've probably already seen from the thumbnail or title, I've got 7 games to talk about. So let's go ahead and get right into it in alphabetical order. I'm going to give a little breakdown of the 7 new to me games that I played in June 2025. Starting with Anachrony. And this is a game I started a while back on Board Game Arena, a 4-player game. And it took 2 or 3 months to complete. It was my first play of Anachrony in any setting. So despite it being a long game, it did teach me this worker placement game. A bit unique worker placement game in that you've got 2 separate worker placement areas. You've got your own personal board area that you're going to build up as the game goes on, adding more and more buildings to it. And then you've got the kind of shared space area that you can send workers to. But in order to do that, you have to have exosuits for them to go out into space and occupy those areas. And some of those exosuits cost some of the resources you're working very hard to kind of maintain and use for everything else you need to. So it's that balanced game of resource management, worker placement, and fighting for those areas. And the other aspect about Anachrony is halfway through the game doesn't change a lot. Some people say it's a big change. I thought it was a minor change personally. But in that change, you can now escape one of your civilians out to space. And, if you're the first one to do it, you get more points. If you're the last one to do it, you actually lose points for holding them back. But more importantly, those shared spaces become blocked off, a lot of them, after they've been taken once. So in that round, you're really fighting to get to those spaces before they're gone, especially if you really need them for certain actions. But again, as the game goes on, you're building up more and more of your own personal space that you can use as well. So maybe you don't need to go out as much. And you're limited on the number of exosuits because some of your exosuit spaces get blocked. And you do this for 7 rounds, I think it is, and see who scored the most points based on in-game scoring and in-game scoring. So Anachrony, a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. Resource management worker placement game with that little bit of twist at kind of the halfway point of the game. The next new game I want to talk about is Qwixx. And Qwixx is a game by Leader Games, I think it is, who designed Root and Vast and those type of kind of war games where you've got your own unique factions doing unique things. And Qwixx is, I would say, a more standard game in comparison. And I didn't really care for Root. I haven't played Vast, or I don't think any of their other games. But Qwixx is unique in, like it was described to me when I was being taught it and kind of talking about it, is it's a game of trick-taking, or a game of spades maybe, to give you a game of Risk, because you're following suit to take actions on this world board of various planets and ships you're moving around, attacking and trying to gain control of space stations and things like that, because you're going to also dictate what is going to be scored each round, and whoever has the most of whatever the scoring is that round, whether it's combat wins or captives or just controlling certain elements, things like that. At the end of each round, once everybody's out of their hand of cards, you'll score that round. And then you play to a set number of points or the end of 5 rounds. And I just thought it was a lot of fun. That really unique, you've got this hand of 5 cards or 6 cards that you're using. And whoever has control will lead the actions of the 4 or 5 different suits you can use. And then whoever has the highest following action of a suit will actually take control for the next round. And only the person in control can dictate the point scoring for each phase of play. So it's really unique balance of this trick-taking game. And if you can't follow suit, you can throw off suits and take one action on the suit you threw off with, or if you don't even want to follow the suit, it's not like required round around like a lot of trick-taking games. But if you choose not to follow, you can throw off and take one action of the suit you threw off with, or you can place any card face down and take one action of the lead action instead of whatever number of actions you could have taken by following suit with a different card. Another thing you can do is basically grab control for the next round by placing two cards down. One is you're going to be your action card, and then another one you're just going to put face down, and kind of you're throwing away a whole turn in that round by giving up a card, but it might be really important to you to do so in order to lead for the next hand. So a lot of back and forth, combat, resource gathering, all kinds of things. It's just a really unique game, and I really did enjoy Arcs. The third new to me game I want to talk about is a game I never really knew much about. I got it in a box of previously owned games that I purchased, and it is Cosmic Run. And this game is a game where you're basically racing up 5 planet tracks using Yahtzee. So you're going to roll 5 dice and place them to kind of move up different planets. But you can't move up every planet the same way. Some of them require 5 dice of the same number. One of them requires 4 dice of the same number. One of them requires 3 dice of the same number. One requires a pair of the same number to get one advancement. And there's further and further tracks to go as it's easier to move up the tracks. Something else you can do is use your dice to acquire alien races, and those alien races are going to give you various things you can do as well, such as take mining gems, which are just worth points, or give you, re-rolls and things like that you can use once, twice, 3, or maybe even 4 different uses for, depending on the alien. And you're going to score for sets of aliens at the end of the game. And every time a planet is taken or destroyed, because every time the dice are rolled by somebody, the first roll will dictate whether or not any planets are getting hit by a comet. And once a planet is hit 3 times, that planet actually goes out of play. And you could end up losing points if you didn't advance on the track far enough. So it's a really unique and relatively quick playing game that is basically Yahtzee with a little bit of twist with these planet tracks and aliens that you're using to assist. I did enjoy that one a lot more than I expected. So it was a good fun game and pretty easy to teach to anybody, especially if you're familiar with Yahtzee. The next game I want to talk about that was new to me in June is Nova Roma. And this is a game that I had my eyes on for a while. And when I first heard about it, it didn't super excite me. And so I didn't back it on Kickstarter. But as it got released to people and they started playing it, and I started seeing more and more videos about it, it really did intrigue me with the action selection mechanism that you're using. Because you're going to place your worker basically on a 4x4 grid, and at the top and side of that grid are the actions. So wherever you place your worker, you're going to take either or both of those actions, and at a power level dictated by how many of your workers are in that row or column. So the first time you place in a row or column, you're probably only going to need to get a power 1 of that action. But if you want to take that action again in the same round, you'll get it added to it, assuming nobody else has taken up all that row or column and blocked you out. So that's a real neat way of doing a worker placement. Plus, every game you're going to rearrange those actions, so every game's going to play different. But what you're doing is you're racing up tracks, or you're gathering resources to spend to upgrade your board, and all kinds of various normal Euro type actions, kind of all wrapped into one with this grid worker placement action selection mechanism. So it's just a lot of fun, and it really did intrigue me the more I learned about it after it had come out. So I finally got my hands on a pre-owned copy and enjoyed my plays of Nova Roma. The next new to me game is Pandemic Reign of Cthulhu, or Reign of Cthulhu, a pandemic game, whatever it's called. It's Pandemic with Cthulhu. I'm not huge on that necessary theme, but I do like a good pandemic game. And this is one I played at my buddy's house. Then he pulled it out, and the two of us played through 3 or 4 games. And just like normal Pandemic, you're going around the board and you're trying to thwart whatever threats are in various locations. In this case, it's cultists, and there's chances you could go mad while you're doing it, which actually change up what you can do with your special character. So I kind of like that little twist. It plays otherwise a lot like the World of Warcraft Pandemic game I have, as far as, there are little guys that come out and occasionally big guys that come out and move and kind of chase you down or chase something down. And you've got to go around kind of thwarting various things and before you lose to the big bad. So very Pandemic-esque game with that little bit of a twist. And I just really enjoyed playing this one out as well, just as much as any of the other Pandemic games. Would I say it's my favorite version? No, mostly because I don't care about the theme as much, but I did enjoy it for just that slight little bit of variation into the game that I do enjoy, which is Pandemic. And the sixth game I want to talk about is a little time filler killer game, Qwixx. And Qwixx is another kind of Yahtzee style game in a way. In Qwixx, you're rolling 5 dice, 2 of them white, 3 are varied colors, or 4 are varied, maybe 6 with 4 colors. And you've got tracks you're moving up based on summations of dice. And when you're the active player, you can take 2 combos. You can take the 2 white dice as a combo and make an X on your board, or you can pick any one color dice with one of the white dice and check off that specific row of color of action. And all you're doing is in 2 rows, you're basically crossing off from 2 to 12, moving upward from left to right as best you can. And in the bottom 2, you're moving from 12 to 2. And as you cross off a number, you can't take anything to the left of the numbers that you've crossed off. So you've always got to move right on the track. So as soon as you dictate I'm taking a 5 in this column, you can't take 2, 3, or 4 anymore in that row. And basically the game ends once somebody has claimed 2 of the colored dice, and that is by either taking the 12 or the 2 of any color and basically blocking it out. Or if you can't make any legal moves or choose not to, you actually kind of take a blow up action. And that's worth negative points, but it might be more valuable to you to, waste a turn than to take a number that's going to hurt you worse later. But once somebody basically takes 3 of those passes, if you will, then that also ends the game. So it's just a quick little pass the dice around and add them up to work your way, kind of up a track again based on the values of the die rolls. And the one thing I didn't mention is on the off turns, everybody's active too, because everybody can take the summation of the 2 white dice on anybody's turn, following the normal rules of play. So Qwixx, quick little fun killer game. I really enjoyed that one as well. And the final game that was new to me in June of 2025 is a game that isn't even released yet. Should be releasing soon. I'm not sure if in July or August. From Play Games, I went to the Play Con just last weekend and got to try the Real-Time Pro Fishing game. And this game is basically a random luck kind of fishing game in that you're rolling dice and trying to catch fish because there's a river or lake, whatever, of 8 fish. One of them will be face up and you can see what it is. And they've got values dictated 1 through 6. I think it's 1 and 6 are solo values, and 2 and 3 are shared, and 4 and 5 are shared on the board. And then there's a far cast and a near cast. So on your turn, you're going to pick one of the color dice with the black and white die. And that color die is going to be your reel. And then the white die will dictate which section of the lake you're catching from, whether it's the section 1, section 2, 3, section 4, 5, or section 6. And the black die will dictate whether or not you got a nibble or a bite or no fish are biting at all. And so on your turn, you're going to choose one of the lures and whether you're going to cast near or far, and then you roll the dice. And there are restrictions on your near far casts, such as on the far cast, I think you need to roll over a 6 value. And on the near cast, you need to roll under a value of 18. So 3 6s basically mean you miss. But once you roll the dice and determine which fish you might have caught, or not caught, but made a hook on, you'll then see assuming you got a good bite, you'll flip the fish over and see whether or not you use the right lure, or you might need to use your tackle box because you got a 12 action tackle box, which allows you to manipulate the dice in order to try to catch the fish. But once you use one item from a tackle box, you can't use it any further, so you're actually going to cross it off and it'll be unusable for you. And there are 4 types of fish. There's near fish, medium fish, far fish, and then the anything goes color. And with the anything goes, literally it could be the biggest fish you've ever seen, or it could be that stuff your line gets snagged on. But basically you're just taking turns trying to catch fish, and if you don't successfully catch a fish on your turn, you're actually going to lose time. And once you lose 3 time, that's it, your day's over, and you'll add up the summation of the fish you caught, their value, and see who won. I believe also when the game release, there's going to be a solo story or campaign or challenge mode to go with it. I don't know what's in the actual box because I only played what they had out on the table, which was kind of the demo version of the game, or the pre-release copy, but it didn't have any extra stuff that might come with the actual game. Just a neat little time killer. You can play it solo or in a group, and it's pretty quick and easy to play and learn. So that's the last game I played that was new to me in June. I think this month was definitely my biggest month of the year so far for new games, and I'm not sure any will catch up to it as the year gets busy again. But we'll see. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Comment below what you've been playing lately, and if you've played any of these games, what your thoughts on them. And that's it. I'll see you next time. Bye.